time to look at some August releases. Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Zach with Zacks Books, and today I've got for you August releases. So in this video I'm going to be talking about books that are going to be released in August. I believe there is 10 of them. And obviously I'm going to be using my phone as notes. If you guys watched the July one, if you have not, check it out up here. I looked at notes off of Goodreads, some stuff that Danielle had found, some blurbs. I really went into them rather vague, so I would be able to read the books and not really be as spoiled with stuff as I could have been if I had fully, told you guys what they were about. So I'm going to pretty much do the same concept with this one, kind of keep it a little vague, talk a little bit about it. If you are intrigued with any of these books, we will have them linked down below. So if you want to check out like blurbs or synopses, go for it. But I'm going to try and keep this as vague as I can with the book so nothing really gets spoiled. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let's go. Alright, right off the bat, there's a bunch that are coming out August 3rd, which is Tuesday, and I'm just going to start right off the bat with it. So the first one I'm going to talk about is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, and that is released August 3rd, like I just said. And the blurb for that is, it's an addictive and riveting psychological thriller. 6 friends, 1 college reunion, 1 unsolved murder. So, I mean, I've read books kind of like that before, where it's kind of like an unsolved murder, people got to figure out what's going on. It's a reunion, so it kind of gives me like One by One vibes, or The Hunting Party, where people are, I don't know if anyone's isolated or not, but, a group of people meet up, something happens, they try and solve the murder. Murderer could possibly be one of the friends, who knows. So, yeah, there you have In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead, released August 3rd. Alright, the next book I'm going to talk about, which is also released on August 3rd, is The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones. So, this book, let me read a little blurb about it. They went away as friends, they came back as suspects. In Sandy Jones's explosive new suspense novel, jumping to conclusions can become the difference between life and death. So it's a thriller novel. I have not read anything from this author before. I'm very intrigued to get to this, though, because obviously I enjoy thriller books. Danielle usually has got some pretty solid picks. It's gotten a lot better. I know the first couple, when we first started, were meh, but since then they've been some pretty solid picks. I know in a video that's going to be coming out soon, I think the July wrap-up, I read The Falling, which is about a plane, and it was actually a really solid book, and I really enjoyed it. So, but yeah, no, I'm very excited to get to this book. Yeah, The Guilt Trip by Sandy Jones, released August 3rd. Alright, next book also being released on August 3rd is Billy Summers by Stephen King. It has finally come, the next release for Stephen King, Billy Summers. I'm very excited for this book. Could possibly be the first book I read in August. I don't know. Could be. But yeah, so I'm very excited about this one. Let me read you the little blurb synopsis here for you. Billy Summers is a man in a room with a gun. He's a killer for hire and the best in the business, but he'll do the job only if the target is a truly bad guy. And not Billy wants out. But first there's one last hit. Billy is among the best snipers in the world, a decorated Iraq War vet, a Houdini when it comes to vanishing after the job is done. So what could possibly go wrong? How about everything? Right off the bat, I know I mentioned this possibly in a video earlier when I mentioned Billy Summers, but it doesn't quite sound like a Stephen King type novel. There's no, like, it doesn't seem like there's going to be anything really supernatural with it, but I could be wrong. I hope there is something supernatural going on with this book, because otherwise it really wouldn't feel like a Stephen King book. But, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it's a good one. I know the one that was also released this year later was a 5-star read for me, and it was a big surprise. So, very excited for Billy Summers to finally be out soon. And obviously we're going to give it a read, and we're going to talk about it with you guys. So, there you have Billy Summers by Stephen King, released August 3rd. Alright, the last book being released on August 3rd that I'm going to talk about, I'm sure there's probably a few other books being released August 3rd, but this is the one that I also am very intrigued with. It's called Holdout by Jeffrey Kluger. So, I have read Project Hail Mary, which is like a sci-fi space kind of book. 5 stars. Right now it's my favorite book of the year so far. Which if you have not seen like my top books of the year so far video, we'll have that up here if you're intrigued to watch that. But yeah, so this one, let me read you the blurb. When evil forces are going unchecked on Earth, a principled astronaut makes a split-second decision to try to seek justice in the only place she knows how, the International Space Station. So, I mean, it's another space book, and obviously I really enjoyed Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and I'm trying to I would love to get back into those kind of vibes. I've been trying to read The Martian, too, by him, and I just haven't really had the time, so I don't know. Maybe I'll give Holdout a read. So, yeah, there you have Holdout by Jeffrey Kluger, released on August 3rd. Alright, the next book is The Perfect Family by Robin Harding, coming out August 10th. So this is another thriller book, so I want to go into this as bland as I can and not really know anything about it. But the synopsis is, well, kind of vague synopsis. The best-selling author of The Swap explores what happens when a seemingly perfect family is pushed to the edge and beyond. And this author is somebody that Danielle has read and likes, and so this new release is being suggested to me by her, so I guess you could say this is the Danielle pick for August, maybe. So, very excited to get to this book as well, obviously, because Danielle has talked, I wouldn't say like praising the heck out of the author, but really enjoys the author, and so I figured I'd give them a read. So there you have The Perfect Family by Robin Harding, coming out on August 10th. Alright, the next book I'm going to talk about is a release coming out August 17th, The Family Plot by Megan Collins. I have not read this author before, but the synopsis for this book sounds rather intriguing. Let me give it a read for you. So, it follows a family obsessed with true crime as they gather to bury their patriarch, which is their dad, only to find another body already in his grave. I mean, that sounds a little intriguing to me, and I would like to get some answers for something like that. So, I will gladly give this a read. I don't want to know really much more about it, so yeah, I'm very excited for this one to come out. Again, it's another thriller. Like I said, Danielle's suggestions on thrillers have been good lately, so I'm holding her accountable for good ones and bad ones. So I'm hoping this will be a good one, because I'm very excited about this, and it does sound really good. So there you have The Family Plot by Megan Collins, released August 17th. Alright, another book being released August 17th is Getaway by Zacks Stage. I don't know if I'm saying that first name correctly, so I apologize. This is an author that Danielle has read and has enjoyed the book that she has read from her. And I am very excited for this because the synopsis sounds pretty good, or well, this little blurb that I have here. In this terrifying novel, 3 friends set off on a hike into the Grand Canyon, only to discover it's not so easy to leave the world behind. I mean, there's questions that arise, as in, like, why are they leaving the world behind if they're really just going to the Grand Canyon? Is there something hidden in the Grand Canyon that might take them off-world? Question mark, question mark. But yeah, no, I've got no idea. I'm very excited to get into this book. Again, this is another author that Danielle has read and is excited for this book as well, and really wants me to give this a read. So, yeah, there you have Getaway from Zacks Stage. Again, I don't know if I'm saying the first name right, I'm sorry. Which is being released August 17th. Alright, another one being released August 17th is Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chizmar. So I know this is an author that a good amount of people really enjoy and like his books. He co-wrote Gwendy's Button Box with Stephen King, and that book was really solid for me. I think I gave it 4 stars possibly. But then he wrote one on his own called Gwendy's Magic Feather, and it was not for me. I really didn't enjoy it, and I think I ended up giving that like possibly 2 stars. Luckily, Gwendy's Final Task, which is a book coming out next year, which we'll have next year releases coming out in December, obviously. And he's writing that one again with Stephen King, so I'm very excited for that, because obviously it's another King book, and it's the final task for Gwendy, so we're ending that trilogy. Now, if only he can get with Peter Straub and write the last book in the Talisman trilogy. But that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Richard Chizmar and Chasing the Boogeyman. Let me read the blurb for you here. In the summer of 1988, the mutilated bodies of several missing girls begin to turn up in a small Maryland town. The grisly evidence leads police to the terrifying assumption that a serial killer is on the loose in the quiet suburb. For a once peaceful community trapped in the depths of paranoia and suspicion, it feels like a nightmare that will never end. I mean, I'm excited about this. It sounds really good, and I really can't wait. I think what really ruined like Magic Feather for me was the fact that the first one was written with King, so I technically was like reading like a King trilogy, but they took King out of the equation for one of the books, and so it like kind of didn't work well for me. So I'm hoping that this standalone, Chasing the Boogeyman, is going to be better, and I really am excited for it. So again, August 17th, Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chismar. Alright, the next book I'm going to talk about is being released August 31st, and that is My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. So far with Stephen Graham Jones, I have got a winner, and I have got a meh. And the one that's a meh is The Only Good Indians, and a lot of people really enjoyed that book. And then the one that I actually liked the most was Night of the Mannequins, and that book was just really weird. It followed this kid, and like they like him and a group of friends like find this mannequin. They call him Manny, and they bring him to this movie theater to prank some guy, and then all of a sudden like he starts moving, and it's like what? It's a really thin book. It's kind of like a short story, but it's really good, and I really did enjoy it. So this one, My Heart is a Chainsaw, I'm very excited for because it's kind of the tiebreaker. I know there's other books by him, but I think this one sounds the most intriguing to me. Let me read it for you. In her quickly gentrifying rural lake town, Jade sees recent events only her encyclopedic knowledge of horror films could have prepared her for in this latest novel from the Jordan Peele of horror literature, New York Times bestselling author Stephen Graham Jones. So, I'm excited to get to this. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be like a Final Girl type thing, even though they mentioned a female character. I don't think it's going to go that route, but if it does, I'm kind of on a good string with it because I read Grady Hendrix, the Final Girl support group, and I gave that like 3.5 stars. It was actually pretty good. So, but yeah, I'm very excited to get to this book. Hopefully this one kind of works for me because then I can read some more Stephen Graham Jones. And if it's a flop, maybe another new release might put me back on the Stephen Graham Jones train. So, there you have My Heart is a Chainsaw being released August 31st by Stephen Graham Jones. Alright, also being released on August 31st is my 10th and final book I'm going to talk about today, is A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins. This is a longer blurb. Let me read it for you here. When a young man is found gruesomely murdered in a London houseboat, it triggers questions about 3 women who knew him. 3 women with separate connections to the victim. 3 women who are, for different reasons, simmering with resentment. Who are, whether they know it or not, burning to right the wrongs done to them. When it comes to revenge, even good people might be capable of terrible deeds. How far might any one of them go to find peace? How long can secrets smolder before they explode into flame? I'm rather intrigued with that. It sounds, well, intriguing. And I've not read a book by this author before, and so I'm very excited to get into this one. Again, it's towards the end of the month, so obviously I'm probably not going to read it until maybe September, maybe. But yeah, very excited. There you have A Slow Fire Burning by Paula Hawkins, released on August 31st. Alright, so those are the 10 books I'm most anticipating for August release. Obviously, there's probably going to be more that get added or more that come out that I did not discuss. And obviously, I might give them a read. Who knows? But yeah, we will have the books linked down below when they are eventually out. But don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what some August releases you're excited about are. Let me know in the comments section. And yeah, otherwise we'll see you guys in the next video. Later.